Hello and welcome to The Hop, a marketing podcast. I'm your host, Matt Taylor-Farrington, and the owner of Purple Bunny Marketing. And today I am joined by Kira from River 949.
Hello.
She's back. So yes, there's plenty of bloopers to come at some point. But today we're going to talk, I guess, some of the things that we're seeing in the market, and something that we posted recently, and I guess it kind of preempted some conversation between you and I, was around the 60-40 split when it comes to marketing. And I guess we're going to talk about, obviously, you should go check out our post if you want to find out more about that. But we're going to talk more about how you could use that 60-40 split in radio.
Yep.
And for those who don't know what the 60-40 is, what we talk about is you want to split your budget into a 60-40 method when it comes to marketing, and you want to use 60% for branding and 40% for your offers or for your hooks or for whatever you're running, specials, those sorts of things, to kind of keep that consistent brand presence there.
Yeah.
So 60-40, how could we use it, and where's a prime example that we could use it in radio? Okay,
so first I'll talk more broadly about that concept so that people kind of get an idea from something that they're familiar with. So Woolworths, they market themselves as the fresh food people.
Yes.
Right. So they spend a lot of their time.
This is not a sponsored post.
No sponsoring. No.
Woolies hasn't given us any money.
No.
Although if they're looking.
Yeah. River 949. Thank you.
Yes.
So their methodology is very on point with that 60-40 rule.
Yes.
So they use TV and radio to promote their fresh food persona.
Yes.
And they do that through fresh market updates.
Yep.
You've probably seen them and heard them, talking about, apple season or this or that or whatever it
Grapes,
is. And
all the different things coming in and out. Yep.
And they're talking about how that's affected stock levels. So it's giving the consumer an insight into, and they're being very, we care, we want you to be informed, very on point branding.
Yes.
And then they turn around and give you offers through their catalogs, through their rewards app, EDMs, social media.
Yes.
So they're utilising that to go, come and shop with us this week, not with our competitors.
Yes.
So that is their overall marketing plan in a nutshell.
Yes.
And any business owner can do the same thing, where you can have a branding base level, and River 949 has a branding campaign. It's a 12-month campaign for clients, and it gives them a base level of commercials that gives them an on-air presence, and it's a long-term campaign that allows them to go, right, I'm here today, and in 12 months time I want to be able to smooth out my troughs in my business, make sure that more people are aware of me, make sure that people are engaged with my brand and know who I am. So that's their branding awareness done and dusted.
Yes.
But then throughout the year, they might turn around and go, actually, we want to run 2 sales per year. And they might pick and refer to a previous podcast. Don't always use the same months.
No.
Don't train your consumers.
Correct.
But this year you might go, you know what, we are going to make a big push into, a special time of the year. Let's go. Halloween. Sorry, brain.
Yes. Coffee. You need more coffee.
Yes, that's exactly right. So we might do a big push into Halloween. So we're going to do a massive Halloween sale, and we're going to market that with social media and a boost in our radio.
Yep.
That's a really easy way to actually target your audience and get them to come and buy with you, because they're already aware of your business, they're already aware of your brand and why they should come and shop with you. Now you're giving them the big reason. Yeah,
correct. I honestly, I think, any business that's not got a base level of branding happening to keep that brand presence there. Look, I get it. When you're a startup, that's hard.
Yeah.
But I think once you can get past that startup point and you 1-2 years in, you really need to sit down and really think about your brand presence and what your brand looks like.
Yeah.
And making sure that you have a consistent brand message in your relevant audiences. So whether that's radio, that's TV, that's social media, it's video content, whatever it might be, you need to be consistent and have that consistent brand there. I mean, we've mentioned him in these podcasts, and dare I say it, but Frank Walker from National Tiles, you cannot go on TV or radio without seeing it or hearing it, and it's just repetitive, but that's what branding is.
That's right.
And it's constant. And, you know, just to give you an example from our backyard, let me talk about our business, Purple Bunny. Why do you think we're doing the hop?
Yeah.
It's a way for us, similar to the Woolies model with the whole fresh food people and their segments and their when they talk about it, we're using the hop as a way to keep our brand consistent, keep our brand message out there, but it's also a way for us to talk to our consumers and tell them what they could be doing in their business. Because then what it does is it makes us a trusted source.
That's right.
That we know what we're talking about, we know what we're doing, and that people will potentially come back to us. Then when we do run, like you said, a sale, or we decide to put an ad in market that says, hey, want your website done for whatever, or, you know, need help with your social media, they've already been connected with our brand. They've been exposed. They've seen it. They know who we are, and they connect, and they automatically go, I trust those people, and I'm probably more likely to commit. So it's part of an overall strategy and overarching image, I guess.
Exactly.
60-40,
Well, consumers don't purchase with a brand that they're not comfortable or trust. And especially when we're talking about people's businesses, we're talking about people's heart and soul that they've invested into, you know, it's a very serious thing that we do. We are trusted people, and we need to make sure that people feel like when they come and talk to us, you know, both of us, that we've got your back.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess there's that word again. You missed it on a previous podcast with another person. Apparently I kept saying 100% so much that we're going to rename the hop to the 100%, okay? So there's branding for you, see? I didn't even know I was doing it, and I've already branded myself as the guy that says 100%. So 100%. Yeah. So Nick's going to insert a little thing in there every time I say it. But yeah, I just think it's a fundamental part of any marketing strategy that any business does. I mean, let's talk about another brand, Toyota.
Yeah.
Oh, what a feeling. And people still, and they don't do it anymore, which I'm disappointed about, and I look after some Toyota dealers and it annoys me, but the jingle for the Oh, what a feeling, I loved the jingle, or the humming of it, or the... Yeah, and I mean, Macca's then took that on, They copied Toyota and started humming the da-da-da-da-da. But it's just subtle there, and that's what it is, and that's the key to your branding. And so making sure that you have the right split in your budget, making sure that you are putting some budget into branding, even if you went 50-50 to start it off with because you needed to, it's just fundamentally important to make sure you're building upon that brand. Yeah,
exactly. And please don't think that you have to be branding every single day of every single month of every single year. Just, again, this is referring back to one of our very early podcasts.
Yes.
Just talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. Talk to somebody who can give you some guidance, and work through how that might look. Yep. We've got clients who started out doing a branding message 2 days per week for 2 weeks out of the month. It wasn't a lot.
No.
But it was a start.
But it was also placed strategically, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And because they actually had a conversation with you about it, it was put at the right times to reach maximum audience and delivered at a certain time that created that frequency, which is what we talk about. You know, I think when people hear me say frequency, sometimes they think, oh, it means I've got to be on all the time. No, frequency just means having an actual frequency. So it means having, whether it's just 2 spots per week that you play at a certain time, that builds frequency.
Yeah.
Whether it's, 1 spot every day during breakfast, builds frequency.
Yep.
Whatever it is, it's your frequency, but work out where that fits and how that works. And that's why I say to people all the time, radio is not that expensive when they think about it. They just have to be strategic about what they do with the radio.
Because humans are creatures of habit. We always drive to work at the same time every day of the week, or 3 days a week, or whatever your schedule is. But we're doing it at the same time all the time.
Or when we stumble off the couch or from the bed and wander down the hallway to our office and turn River on iHeartRadio. Yes, we have routines.
Yes, everybody.
Not mine.
Not at all. But we all have a routine. We all have a set thing that we do every single day. Just know your consumer,
and plug into their routine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've probably done 60-40 to death now. And if you're not sure, there's a post on our socials as well. But moving on to like data insights now, some interesting data that Kira and I have actually been kind of talking about over the last little while.
Yeah.
That we've kind of been analysing some new stats that are coming to market, and the likes of like Deloitte, who's reporting this data. You've got some different companies from the States that are reporting it, like Hootsuite that live in this space, that do all this sort of stuff, and they're now starting to say that our attention spans are shrinking so much that it used to be on average 7 interactions with a business before you would consider a purchase or sale. That's now increased to 19 and sometimes 20 interactions. So that means that we need to be delivering more content to get them. And I mean, I know myself as my business, I sit there and go, how am I going to get that much content out? And I guess that's the key that we've got to start working on and working smarter at, is how do we deliver that content? And I guess radio can play a part in that, in your mix. If they are driving to work and back and that's your audience, or listening to it because they've stumbled down the hallway on iHeartRadio, whichever it is, that can build part of those interaction pieces, I guess. As an example for us, the podcast is also another reason why we've done this, because the podcast, for one episode, for me to sit here and record with Kira, with whoever I interview, that produces 5 to 6 pieces of content for us. So there's 5 to 6 ticked off for me to sit here for 15 to 20 minutes to do that. So in an hour, if I pump out 3-4 episodes, I've produced 20 pieces of content. So I now have all that content that can go up to my pages, and I'm not sitting there having to scratch my head and think about it and come up with different things. And, that's when people start resorting to the TikTok trends and the TikTok dances and, whatever, which is just not relevant to your business. But anyways, that's a different topic. But, it allows you to actually produce content that's informative, that provides the information that they need, but it gives me the number and the quantity that we need to do. So, I guess what's your kind of take on? I mean, that number's blown out now. Yeah. And it's quite alarming, I guess, from my perspective. And I'm someone who's in this industry. You are too. Mm-hmm. It just kind of makes me go, whoa. If our attention spans are getting that short, what next? What more do we have to be introducing into the marketing mix to get people's attention, to make them want to buy or hook them, to get them to purchase? Well,
okay, so we, for 6 odd years, I'd been always using the 10 rule. So by the 10th time that somebody's had an interaction with your brand, your recognition and recall grow. And now we're starting to get to a point where it's like, okay, it's great that you have brand recall, but have you got it to the point where your brand recall is enough to make somebody walk through your door? Have you given them enough of a reason to walk through your door and interact with your brand? So it's a fine thing that you've got to test and measure always. Don't just be lackadaisical and go, we have radio and it's just a set and forget. No.
Agreed.
No.
Never set and forget.
No, set and forget.
Yes, set and forget's the worst thing you can do with marketing. I think, I just, the number of interactions now, when I think about it, I look at our marketing plan and I go, okay, cool, we're actually probably kind of not too bad. We're kind of doing that number now, between the podcast, between our emails that go out, between our other posts that go up on our socials and all that sort of stuff, between, a twinkle of TV advertising, a bit of radio here and there, different things that we run. I go, okay, cool. We're probably hitting the mark in that space. But then when I start to think of these small businesses that are coming through, and I think 19 interactions, you need to be like a social media expert to do it. And it's the numbers, it honestly is just scary. And I think even Hootsuite, Deloitte, all of them have kind of said the numbers now crazy that it's getting to, that you need to be looking at other avenues to get your message across. And I think radio's a great one. You've got digital TV's become quite cheap now.
Yes.
To use. And digital radio too. I mean, we don't talk about that enough on here. We always, when we talk, we tend to lean to traditional. But, you've got your digital radio platform where, like I just said, when you stumble down the hallway, turn on iHeart, you're listening. But you can actually target people through that, correct?
So you can... it's a slightly different platform, but there is a platform in which we can help you digitally target your clients. So it can be, you're targeting men who are 35 and over, for example. That will then go, right, you're logged into your Spotify account and you're listening to a podcast. It'll deliver you a ad specifically targeted at you. So that's what I mean about getting smarter about how you utilize your marketing.
100%.
Because if you don't start to do that, you will become lackadaisical with your advertising. You will become really quite. You'll go, yeah, everything's fine, and you'll wake up one day and go, where's all my business? My pipeline's dried up.
Yes.
I'm not getting the leads I used to. And it's not something that will happen overnight. Either way.
Yes.
If you turned around and, we've got this insight now and you go, right, I'm going to make a change. Great. It's not going to change overnight, but it will change.
Yes.
Give it 3 to 6 months, but keep measuring it. Keep making sure that you're asking all the right questions when people come in and talk to you. Keep asking, get those check boxes when you get your online contact forms.
Yes.
All of those sorts of things, because everything leads to home, which is your business.
Correct.
So if you're not making sure that you're measuring that information that's coming into you, how are you going to know what's working and what's not?
Yeah, agreed.
So definitely digital advertising, whether it be visual or radio, because you can actually do both. You can have impressions on the website.
That's right. Yes.
For your local radio station or your local or a radio network even.
Yep.
You can turn around and go, right, I want to buy every station in your network from here to Harvey Bay.
Yes.
Because that's where my audience is.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you want to back that up with some digital? Yes, I do. So we're going to do 15-second commercials that sit on iHeartRadio on those stations. So they see it, they hear it, they go on, and eventually they'll come and interact with it. Layer that with some traditional on-air marketing, live reads, pop-up, 30 or 15-second commercials. But in saying that, I've got clients that just layer 13 and 15-second commercials and do an absolute blast of advertising, and it's a special, it's especially for events.
Yes.
They'll do 176 commercials in a 7-day period.
Yeah, right.
So if that doesn't get you that 20 interactions with your audience, they're living under a rock.
Yes.
But that client or those event clients, they're also layering that with their Facebook. They're using events, they're using sponsored posts, they're posting organically.
We've talked about this on previous podcasts where we've said, don't just put it on radio.
Yep.
Make sure you're looking at this as a collective and that you have it on your digital platforms. You need to make sure that if you're on Facebook, run a Facebook ad that links to it so that when people connect what they hear with what they see, they are potentially more likely to click and engage, especially if there's someone that's interested in your product.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting the wrap up from the studio. Nick's telling us we've got to
Nick.
stop speaking, apparently. Apparently I ranted too much in this one.
Whatever.
Anyways, thank you for tuning into The Hop. Thanks again to Kira for jumping on, talking radio, throwing me off my game, giving us more blooper reels as she always does.
That's what I do.
So make sure you tune into The Hop, subscribe and follow, helping you to get your marketing hopping.